more tonight about what may and may not happen when Washington Commanders owner Dan Snyder testifies in front of Congress. The House Oversight Committee has been trying to get him on the record about allegations of workplace misconduct.
Adam Longo has been following this investigation for months. Adam, what did you learn today?
So Leslie, the postman is definitely beginning a workout because there are letters flying back and forth between Dan Snyder's attorney and the attorneys for the House Oversight Committee. Here's where things stand right now tonight because of the most recent letter that came through about noon today from Snyder's attorney to the House Oversight Committee. Everyone agrees that they want to set this date of Thursday, July 28th, for Dan Snyder to give a videotaped tele-deposition. So he's actually in Israel recognizing the one-year passing of his mother, so his attorney would be there with him. Dan Snyder's actually been out of the country for, well, almost a month now. He wasn't here during the June 22nd hearing of the House Oversight Committee that involved NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. That's one of the reasons that his attorney says he wasn't able to appear. But with all of these letters going back and forth, here's what everything boils down to tonight. Dan Snyder's attorneys are saying they are willing to accept this videotaped deposition as long as it is a voluntary deposition. Meantime, the House Oversight Committee, they want this to be under oath. They want Dan Snyder's attorney to accept service of a subpoena. So still, the devil's in the details. This is not a done deal yet, but it appears that all sides are working towards this Thursday, July 28th deposition, where Dan Snyder would finally be able to sit down and address some of these allegations of workplace misconduct and sexual harassment directed not only at the Commanders organization, but at him personally. Back to you.
All right, I guess we'll see what happens then, right?
Yeah.
This back and forth just continues.
Yeah, and this letter had an interesting sort of emotional component here. You could almost feel some anger also coming through the letter because they were suggesting that Dan Snyder shouldn't be able to mourn the loss of his mother, and that all of this had caught up into the politics of all of this. Adam, how were you decoding all of that?
Yeah, so there's been tension on both sides, and that tension has been elevated with now both sides accusing the other of not acting in an appropriate way and trying to hash this out. But what it boils down to is essentially a lot of legal jargon going back and forth, whether or not they're going to be able to set aside those differences and actually make this happen. Because if you'll consider this, time is running out for this to happen, too. Congress is going to go on its August recess, and then when it comes back, they're going to be involved in the re-election campaign. So Dan Snyder, he could stay out of the country until January and avoid this whole thing. I think that's highly unlikely, but we wait for the next step now, which is the Oversight Committee to respond, saying whether or not they will accept a voluntary deposition.